Hello everybody, Resented here, and I'm in the 1.0 release demo for the Labyrinth. Now this is the game that I've been working on for several years now. It officially released on Steam last June, I believe, or July. It was one of those J months. Now, for quite some time now, I've been working on the version 1.0 because the game that is available to play right now is on beta 0.9. So the next big release is 1.0, which is full release. For full release, I've done a complete overhaul of the entire game. I've rewritten it from the ground up. Modified a bunch of mechanics. I honed things in a lot, and overall, I feel like I made it a better experience. Now, this video is going to basically showcase what the game, or what the demo entails, and how that will affect the full release when it occurs. So to start off, I'll go in the options menu because the original options menu is relatively bare bones, but this new options menu is a lot more robust. There's 3 tabs: graphics, audio, gameplay, and keyboard bindings. It's gonna be very boring to start with. There might be the timestamp to get into the actual meat of the game, but I'm actually quite proud of this because I fleshed out the options a lot. Gameplay has nothing in it right now, but this is gonna have things like combat speed, tutorial enable and disabling, stuff like that. And then keyboard bindings, there are keybinds in the original game, but you can't alter them. This one you can. There's a full screen. Basically, you click it, choose a key. How about backslash? How about F11? Because that's what it was originally. And then, in combat, 1, 2, 3, 4 selects your allies. 5, 6, 7, 8 selects the enemies. Top left active spell is Q, and then so on and so forth. I don't need to go into specifics. I think the main things that have changed are window scaling. Originally, there is no scale, which means no matter what you do, the game window always stays this size, which is 1024 by 768. In the original game, if you have a window that's smaller than this, then it just crops, so it just cuts off a section without scaling appropriately. But I added a show all, which basically zooms the window to the size of your monitor. And the other thing that's changed is you can change the font type. So right now we have a serif font, which is a fancier font, but it might be harder to read. You can change it to sans serif, which is simpler. I'll show what that looks like. I'll have to restart the game, but let me show you. Again, this starting is going to be pretty boring. Just give it a second. It has to take a second for it to figure out that my game is active. It'll get there, I promise. Come on. Come on, there it is. Okay, so yeah, this is the sans serif font. It's a lot simpler. Doesn't have all the fancy bits and bobs on the letters. So for some people, that might be better for them. I personally like the serif font, so I'm gonna switch back really quick, and then I'm gonna actually start getting into the gameplay. So once it loads up again, I will get started and show you a little bit of the game. I'll probably go for about 15 or 20 minutes. I don't want the video to be too long, so I'm not gonna try and show off literally everything. I'll show off the main portion though. So once it loads up here, I'll get started. Come on, this takes it a long time. Do I have to do stuff? Okay, there we go. My goodness. Okay, so first, well, let me delete that. When you play your load, you'll notice that there are 3 save files. There was only 1 save file in the original game. This one I was able to get you 3. So you can have multiple files for multiple different play styles with all sorts of different characters. Because there's so many different characters and so many permutations of party members that just 1 save file isn't enough to experience, I feel. So anyways, this is character selection. It's almost exactly the same from the original game, so I don't really have to explain it too much. You basically, the first thing you do, you choose a class. So warrior, mage, rogue, and archer. I'll just go. You have 4 party members, so I'm just gonna go down the list: 1 warrior, 1 mage, 1 rogue, 1 archer. So first you choose a warrior, and then you choose the subclass. This chooses what spells your dude will have. I'll just pick a berserker because it's the first one. And then up here it updates to show what class you are. The second thing is you allocate your stat points, so you have 10 points to work with. Each one does its own thing, and each class has a main stat. So your main stat increases your bonus damage and your bonus defense, which is flat damage and defense added to your weapon and armor. So for instance, warrior's main stat is constitution. So for every 2 points in constitution, a warrior will get 1 bonus damage, and for every 5 points in your main stat, your bonus defense goes up by 1. So that's an incentive to kind of hone towards your main stat as a character, but all the stats give all classes a benefit. So if Constitution is not your main stat, you might want to increase it anyway because it does also increase your maximum health by 10. Intelligence increases max mana by 10. Dexterity increases accuracy by 0.5%. Swiftness increases quickness by 1, which determines combat order. And luck is not a main stat because there's only 4 classes, but there's 5 stats. So 1 stat is not a main stat, and that's luck. So luck determines your critical strike chance and overall fortune. So the more luck you have, the better luck you're going to have throughout the run. In just various, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like various, like, non-specific ways. But other than that, luck does increase crit chance by 0.5%. So anyways, let me get started. I'll just allocate like 5 to Constitution since it's my main stat, and I'll put like some in. It doesn't really matter right now. The demo is not too important with your characters because your characters don't really do anything right now because combat does not exist. The framework is there, just combat itself is not in the game yet. And so in character selection, you can see your starting stats. This updates as you add and decrease stuff. So you get to see like a brief rundown of your character. So he'll have 300 health, 70 mana, 80.5 accuracy, 5 quickness, 3.5 crit chance, 15 bonus damage, and 6 bonus defense. So I'm gonna go through these ones relatively quickly because I want to get started. Whoop, no, and then I'll put 5 in there. And then the archer. Now, once the full game is released, character selection will matter a lot more because each class has its own set of abilities. And so I do have to go through this a little bit because this has changed from the original game. Difficulty. Okay, this is a little different. Difficulty. I keep the old descriptions here, but this actually isn't accurate. The way that difficulty works now is that it makes enemies have better stats, which I don't feel is like a good way to make difficulty. It's kind of like fake difficulty, because it basically just makes the enemies have more health and deal more damage. It's really not fun. But in the old game, harder difficulties did change the enemy's AI. They made smarter decisions, but now I changed it to where the enemies make smart decisions no matter what, but the harder the difficulty, the more chance there is of you getting more enemies per combat. So if you're on easy difficulty, it'll be very rare to fight 4 enemies at once, but on Nightmare that might be commonplace. So if you want, extreme difficulty, like 4 enemies every single time, then do Nightmare. But if not, I go hard because I can consistently win on hard. Nightmare on the original game is impossible. Like, I just can't do it. If you can do it, then kudos to you, but hard is like kind of the way it's supposed to be played, in my opinion. And then from there, you can choose Your party members, I'll be Ugotopia, because that's my username everywhere except for YouTube for some reason. And then the biggest update of this entire thing is going to be the fact that you can now name your allies. I'm going to name one Pazzo for my cat, Professor Posworth. That's Pazzo. My other cat is Jackson. And then my brother's cat is Maggie. And then you can choose a run length, which determines how many floors you have to go through before you get to the final boss. I always go short, but on the demo, it doesn't really matter because, again, there's no combat. So the game goes on forever, basically. But I'll just go short anyway, because the run length actually determines when certain rooms spawn, because there's rare rooms that can only spawn once you reach a certain percentage of your total run. So the shorter the run, the quicker you'll get to the rarer rooms. That's actually hard to say. And then you can do a seed if you want. This just determines floor generation, item generation, enemy generation. The same seed with the same run gives you the same everything. So that could be useful for things like racing a friend. But for now, it doesn't really do much. Again, it just does not too much now since combat's not in the game. And then you get this nice little scrolling text. Now, okay, you might notice I've tried to make this not happen, but it still slips through every now and then. You can see the S is cut off right here. That is a Flash issue. It is not a programming issue on my end. I have seen it. What happens is Flash cuts it off. And it's Flash's problem because it doesn't register the text width properly. It gets the wrong width, which sucks because there's no way for me to work around it because it's so random when it cuts off. So it's hard for me to combat it, but I try my best. And as you can see, the rest of it looks fine. It's just that one little guy. And so it's not going to happen very often, but it will happen. Just know it's not a me problem. It's a freaking Flash problem. So anyways, once you read all this and get your fill of lore, you can start your journey. And what are we? We're at 12 minutes in. I have not started. Wow, that is horrible. Okay, let's get started. So you start on floor 1, of course. Tells you how many rooms you have left. Down here, you can choose the current target. That will determine on some rooms what items are like available and stuff like that. It'll just compare items to the current target, which is useful in certain situations. The inventory has changed a bit. You only start with 8 slots as opposed to 64 in the original game, but there are consumables like backpack fittings where when you consume them, it gives you more inventory slots. So inventory has been nerfed very, very heavily, and then the statistics page has been overhauled. There are now a ton more statistics, and hovering over each one gives you a brief description of what that is. Same thing on this side here. So then you can go to, each character. Dope. Okay, let's get started. The only other thing is a spell list that's not implemented yet because I haven't gotten to that part. That's with combat, and again, combat has not been made yet. So all you can really do is just keep moving on, reading the descriptions of the room, seeing what happens. Okay, so this one is a treasure room. You can either click these to put them into your inventory, or if you leave them behind, it acts as if you destroy the item, because you can destroy items for gold. Leaving them behind acts as if you destroy them, and it gives you gold. So this comes into play with the current target. Like right now, it's comparing these items to me, but if I click Pazzo, it'll compare them to him. This right here, this treasure is a steel short sword, but he has a maple wand of soul steel equipped, and then Jackson has a dagger, and Maggie has a long bow. So I'll take that. I'll take all of them. I don't see why not. This is a nothing room. It's actually a dark room. It makes it to where you can't open your inventory, so all you can do is continue or quit. This one is a nothing room, but it's a refreshing room because when you go through each floor or each room, your party heals based off a percentage of their max health and max mana. This room actually heals them more than other rooms. And that dark room that we just had, that actually does not heal at all. This one is a dim room. It's just nothing again, and it gives the average healing. Okay, here we go. Something interesting. This is a shop. So here you can basically look through all the items that it's selling. It spawns weapons, armor, offhand, and then consumables. So the weapons, armor, and offhands are split between your characters. So since I'm a warrior, the first 2 of each item is for a warrior. It's for me. So it gives me 2 swords, 2 heavy armor sets, and then 2 offhands for a warrior. And then Pazzo, since he's a mage, he gets mage items. Jackson gets rogue items, and Maggie gets archer items. And then down here we have consumables. These give you permanent bonuses. So this one increases max health by 40. This one gives you constitution. This one gives you bonus damage, so on and so forth. And then the last one is the backpack fittings, which gives you 4 extra inventory slots. And the background color determines the rarity. So more rare items and more rare consumables give you better stats. So I can't really buy anything here because I have no gold, and I don't even want to buy anything because, again, it's a demo. Combat doesn't matter, so items that change up your combat stuff doesn't matter. I'll just go through this really quick to go through some of the rooms that we encounter. This last one is always going to be a boss room for the last room of each floor. Right now, there's no combat, so all you have to do is just continue. And then this is now the first room of the next floor. Whenever you enter the first room, you get a full party health and mana restore. And then you always get a good chance of leveling up as well from killing the boss. So we have a dim room. This is a potion room. So I can't really show this off now unless I get really lucky. But the thing about this is there are like 16 different potion colors, and each one gives a random benefit. Well, not benefit. Each one gives a random effect. It can either be a good effect or a bad effect. Now, whenever you drink a potion for the first time, you don't know what it does. So if you want to take the risk, you can have someone drink the potion. So this one was a bad potion. My quickness was reduced by 5. So now I have 0. That's great. And so in the future, if you find another potion with that same color, it'll give you flavor text, or like, not flavor, because flavor actually means useless, but in this case it's a hint as to whether or not that potion is good or bad. And it won't be 100% certain. It won't be like this potion is good or this potion is bad. It can say that, but it has a higher chance of saying something like, you think this potion is good, which means there's a decent chance that if you drink that potion, it's good, but there's also an off chance that it's bad. So if you don't remember what that potion does, the hint can kind of sway you towards whether or not that potion is good. And if you want to risk trying it, then you can go ahead and do it. This one is a gambling room. What happens is you have to play gold to play it. The base cost is 100. I can't play it right now, but I can probably destroy some items to get enough gold, and we just did, so I'll play it. And so then what you do is you choose from 3 cups. 2 of them have a bonus and 1 has a detriment. I don't know which one is which, but let's just try the first one. Okay, we earned 150 gold, so we spent 100 and won 150. So we came out of that room on top. This is a dim room. This is a stat check room. So there is a stat check room in the original game, but it's very easy once you learn what it does. I made it a lot more interactive here. So the gist of it is that it checks one of your main stats. So here are the main stats right here. What it does is it picks one of these and it tells you which one it is through the text. So in this case, it says the energy feels powerful. That indicates that it chose Constitution. And then it picks a random number. And what you want is you want to pick the party member that has the stat closest to that chosen number. The chosen hidden number that you don't know what it is, you want to choose your party member that is closest to that number. So it gives you another hint as to where that number lies relative to your party member's chosen stat. So in this case, it says the aura is relatively strong. That means that the hidden variable is greater than 2 of my party members. Or is it 3? Relatively strong? It's either 2 or 3. So let's find the party member with the middling constitution. I have 30, which is too much because that's the most. Pazzo has 15, which might be good. Jackson has 8, and Maggie has 9. So I would pick either Pazzo or Maggie. I'm probably going to pick Pazzo, and if I chose correctly, it'll let me know. Okay, so in this case, I actually was wrong because Pazzo's energy was too strong, meaning his stat, which is 15, was greater than the hidden stat. So I should have picked Maggie, or I should have picked Jackson, but Maggie was probably a better choice. So let's move on. This is another potion of a different color, so I don't know what it does. I'll go ahead and drink it. My bonus stamina or bonus defense was reduced by 5. Well, that's great. So both potions have harmed me. This is a good like restoration room. It fully heals your party's health and mana. And then we got the boss room, so let's move on. Okay. Let's keep going. Another shop. Can't really do much. Yeah, the backpack fittings is too expensive, so I can't buy it. This one is a sacrifice room. Let me see if I can get the gold sacrifice. No. I think you need like 500 gold. So basically, there are 5 things here, and each one gives you a bonus at the cost of a resource. So it goes from least dangerous to most dangerous. So the higher risk gives you the higher reward. So in this case, this first one is a gold sacrifice. You spend 500 gold to gain plus 2.5% party soul steal. So this will increase your party's soul steal. In soul steal, from here you can see that it's the percent of attack damage dealt that returns as mana. So when you deal attack damage, you'll get mana back because you have soul steal. But I can't do it because we need at least 500 gold, but we only have 278. We can do this one, which is a current mana sacrifice. It's not too risky because current mana is not that important. It spends 40% of your party's current mana to gain 4% party spirit steal, which is the percent of spell damage dealt that returns as mana. There is that text that's getting cut off again. Again, I can't fix that. I try my best to, but sometimes it slips through the cracks. This is the middling ground risk, where it spends 40% party's current health to gain plus 10 random party main stats. So, current health is more important than current mana because health, if you lose health, you die. Or if you run out of health, you die. But if you run out of mana, you're good. So this one, you get more of a bonus here. This gives you plus 10 party main stats. I can do that. And so, you used it. Our health has gone down, but we got a bunch more stats. So in this case, like, Puzzle got a lot more intelligence. I got more constitution. It's random, so it chooses randomly. So I don't know exactly what got increased, but it's pretty good if each party member gets 10 random stats. This next one is maximum mana, so it's pretty risky because you're reducing max mana, which can't be reversed. But this gives you 4 battle veils, and a battle veil allows you to bypass 1 non-boss encounter, which could be good if you get stuck on a really hard combat that you can't pass. And then the most risky is maximum health, but it gives you the most reward. And all the rewards are random, of course, so Plus 20% party spirit steal might not be too good, but in the future, if you get another sacrifice room, the maximum health sacrifice could give you something more beneficial to you. And this video is already 25 minutes long, so I should wrap this up. I'll just go through a little bit more. This is a different potion. Let's see. Crit chance was increased. Okay, so that was finally a good one. Orange was a bad one. Health regen was reduced. There's this one. Ooh, this is good. This is a mapping room. This tells you what the next few rooms are going to be. Now, in the old game, the mapping room, you had a choice of what to choose from. Either seeing what the next 3 rooms had, seeing what the last 5 rooms had, or seeing how many combat encounters there are left on the floor. I made it a lot more simple in this one. It just shows you the next 5 rooms, which I think is pretty nice. It's basically kind of like a mix of the first 2 mapping rewards on the last game, and knowing how many combat encounters there are could be useful, but it's not really that useful in my opinion. So I just took that one away and just showed you what the next 5 rooms are going to be. So here we have another gambling room. We gained 1 random consumable, and it was a blue potion of intelligence. Pazzo is my mage, so he will get that potion. And then another sacrifice room, let's see. Plus 7.5% party accuracy, sure. Plus 6.5% party spirit steal, sure, why not? Another potion, sure. Ooh, I got stat points. Okay, so this will actually show you a good stat allocation. So in this case, you can allocate however you'd like, or you can auto allocate. So auto allocate tries to maintain a specific percentage of stats. So it tries to keep your main stat. So Pazzo is a mage, so his main stat is intelligence. It tries to keep this at, I think, 35% of your total stats. And then you have a secondary stat, which I think in his case might be Constitution. If not, it's Swiftness. It keeps that at like 15%, and then it goes, lower and lower as you get to the less important stats. So auto allocate, sure, do it. And then when you close your statistics, it automatically confirms and allocates those points permanently. And that's about it, really. Other than that, there's really not much to it. I lost 3 random stats. That's great. Try and go pretty quickly. There are a few other room types. There's like a blacksmith room that you can create an item. There's an enchantment room. Oh, this is a cursed room because once you go past the run length, so I chose a run length of 6 floors, but I'm on floor 7. So after the start of every floor, after you reach the end of the run, because you're able to continue on if you desire. If you continue on, then every floor that you start in after that point, it reduces your maximum health and you don't fully heal anymore. So it just increases the difficulty. So here's the blacksmith room. I'll show this and then I'll probably end the video because we're getting about to the 30-minute mark. So here you can just create anything you want. Create a weapon. Okay, I want a rare weapon. I want a rare wand. I want it to be created out of oaken material. And then the crafting speed determines conditions. So if you do a quick crafting, then it's cheap, but you have a better chance, what am I trying to say? An increased chance, because better implies good, but it's not a good thing. It's an increased chance of getting a worse condition. And so if you go like careful crafting, it's more expensive, but you have a better chance of getting a good condition. So you can do like careful crafting, and then you can choose a special to be applied. It adds cost to it. If you do no special, it does not cost anything. And then you can choose to scale the item to a character's level, which increases the cost. And if you choose no player, then it doesn't scale and it gives you a random level. So like I can scale it to Pazzo's level since he's a mage and he's level 1, so it'll scale it to level 1. The problem is I don't have enough gold, so can't do it unfortunately. And that is gonna do it. One random consumable. Oh, it's backpack fittings. Awesome. So there you go. I increased my inventory space. And if you get too many inventory spaces, it creates new pages, because you can see page 1 here. So you can theoretically have infinite inventory slots if you have enough backpack fittings. And that's it. Oh my god, what is this? Oh, this is oh my god, this is great. It's it's fucking up, so I'll have to fix that. But this is an enchantment room. This would allow you to scale items to characters' levels, and it would also allow you to apply a special to an item if it doesn't already have one. But in this case, it actually tells you a funny joke. If you have no items to enchant, it'll be like, yeah, you have to leave now because the sprite thinks you're crazy because you destroyed all of your items and you're like running around naked. So it just tells you a funny joke, and then you have to continue. You can't use the enchantment room anymore. And so before I wrap this up, I will say one more thing. The game does save automatically, so once you go back to the main menu, you can reload exactly where you left off. It's easy peasy. It's very, very quick because I made the game very, very efficient. So that's gonna be it. That's gonna be it for the Labyrinth demo teaser. I'll leave a link in the description to the Game Jolt page and the Steam page for this demo. If you own the game on Steam, you cannot play the demo. I've already tried. But if you own the game and you want to play the demo, you'll have to download it off of Game Jolt and then play it from there. But if you don't own the Labyrinth, then you can download the demo on Steam. And if you like it, I would be very happy if I got some upvotes on Game Jolt, or just like if you want to like the page or follow it to catch up on any kind of updates that I put out. And also be sure to follow the game on Steam if you are interested in it, or you could just pick it up. It's $5, and then you get access to full release when it happens. But for now, that's gonna be it for this video. The download also has, of course, very easy purchase on Steam button, and then a little disclaimer on the bottom showing you that there's core features that are missing. But if you're interested in playing the demo just to kind of mess around with it, then yeah, by all means. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please show your appreciation by liking, commenting, subscribing, all of that garbage, and I'll see you guys next time.